Hey, welcome to the S-Files, where we seek truth and call out the lies. If this is your first time here, consider subscribing and hitting the like button because truth is not popular these days. And speaking of lies, that brings us to the subject of this video, Project Constitution. I did not plan on making this video at all. I've already made a little video on Project Constitution, but when I saw this post last night, I knew it had to be addressed, and the story just got crazier as making the video went on, and I'll explain it to you as we go on. Alright, so as I said last night, I come across this post on X from Project Constitution, and it reads, Bombshell. Obscure YouTuber Gary Melton just exposed himself again. He casually admitted on his live that he was talking to Brian Harpole just 7 days after Charlie Kirk's assassination. Gary Melton, Paramount Tactical, went on his live stream last night and accidentally exposed himself yet again. He admitted he was in direct contact with Brian Harpole as early as September 17th, just 7 days after Charlie Kirk was publicly executed. He showed text messages from Ryan Matta dated September 17th, claiming Charlie was wearing body armor. Gary says that he quietly tried to confirm it. Then, after talking to Harpole, he came out and pushed that Charlie was not wearing body armor. Let that sink in. While the public was still in shock, while the timeline was still forming, while real investigators were digging, Gary was already on the phone with the very people pushing the FedSlop story. This wasn't organic. This wasn't some random YouTuber just asking questions. This was a controlled asset being activated early to steer the narrative. They saw the public wasn't buying the official story, so they dropped Gary in as the credible independent voice to lend legitimacy to their lies and muddy the waters. Classic counterintelligence move. Gary Melton isn't some truth-seeking researcher. He's been working with the very people shaping the official narrative from the beginning. The timeline just got a whole lot clearer. One more thing. Early on in the investigation, many of us, myself included, were being told by multiple sources that Charlie was wearing body armor. That's exactly what Ryan Matta reported at the time. Gary's pathetic attempt to discredit Ryan Matta is a massive fail. In independent journalism, especially on fast-moving breaking news, sources don't always pan out. That doesn't make the reporter wrong or dishonest. Ryan did nothing wrong. He was simply relaying the best information available at the time, just like the rest of us. And then he continues to say, if you have any information on Gary and his Fed contacts or anything else related to this, to reach out to him. And of course, he tags his cult leader at Real Candace Owens. And then he provides this clip here, which I have a clip of my own, which is longer and adds more context. So the gist of that clip, or that, excuse me, of that X post by Project Constitution, is that Gary accidentally slipped up and basically snitched on himself, and that he's been talking to Brian Harpole since the week Charlie was assassinated, which is completely false. Either Project Constitution completely misunderstood what Gary said, or he's completely lying. Based on the other information on his page, I'm inclined to go with the latter, that he's just completely lying to get clicks. I mean, that's pretty much what he's been doing since Charlie Kirk's assassination. And for the record, the fact that Project Constitution uses Charlie Kirk's image as his profile picture disgusts me. The vile things that he has about Erica Kirk on his page, while he has her dead husband as his profile picture, that is just gross. Project Constitution provided a 52-second clip or so on his X post. I have one here that's about 2 minutes long, and it provides a little more context. Not that you really need context because Gary didn't do it, but I'm going to go ahead and play that for you.
You believe that I owe you a mea culpa. And there's nothing I hate worse than being wrong. And I try really hard not to be. But if and when I am wrong, I'm going to come clean and make sure you guys know when I'm wrong. I'm going to come clean and tell you that I'm wrong so that, you can always trust us.
All right. I guess I basically said, hey, look, there's new evidence that says Charlie Kirk was not wearing body armor. That was the night of September 11th. And I came out immediately and said that because it is important to me to get things right. And I was speculating based on what I could see in a video. But this is the difference between me, and I guarantee you Lisa would do the same thing, and most honest brokers of information will do the same thing. We try our best to use evidence and get it right. But when we're wrong, we're going to come back and tell you. That is something that Candace Owens never did. Now, I will also, just to make sure we're straight, is later on, I did continue to look for, and the whole time I was like, hey guys, I could be wrong on this, because I got additional information that Charlie Kirk was indeed wearing body armor. And folks, there is some extremely high-tech body armor that is very difficult to see. And I want you to look at right here. This was something I got from Ryan Matta. That this is the first time I'm sharing publicly. First time. Look at the date right there. It's September 17th. I'll just play this because I zoom in on it and I show you the second text on this. All right, someone I know was related to the surgeon that worked on him. He was wearing a bulletproof vest. All right, so from there, I didn't share this. Didn't share it because I wasn't sure about the source. And now we know the source was extremely wrong, and I wouldn't share anything that Ryan Matta does. But I kept this, and all I was doing was trying to confirm or deny this additionally, fairly quietly, because I didn't know if it was true. And then the moment that I had full confirmation from somebody there on the scene, Brian Harpole, as a matter of fact, that he wasn't wearing body armor, I came out and I said, hey, yes, guys, I can definitively say at this point, he wasn't wearing body armor.
Okay. So, in the beginning, Gary made videos saying that Charlie did have on body armor. And then he said, no, he didn't have body armor. And then he received these messages, which actually confirmed what he believed, but he didn't share them because he didn't trust the source. Now, that's having integrity. And if you listen to the clip, he said he got the information on the 17th and then continued to try and confirm it quietly. And when he did confirm it with Brian Harpole that Charlie Kirk was not wearing body armor, that's when he came out and definitely said that Charlie Kirk was not wearing body armor. The thing is, Gary didn't talk to Brian Harpole until November 2nd. It wasn't September 17th. The way Project Constitution wrote his X post and what he is implying in his X post is that Gary received this message from Ryan Matta and then that day confirmed it with Brian Harpole, when that is not what Gary said and that is not what took place. And this was Gary's personal reply to Project Constitution on X. The tabloid grifter Project Constitution lies again. As someone investigating Charlie's murder, I had been trying to reach Brian Harpole since I learned his name, probably a week or two after Charlie's murder. I did not speak with him or confirm that Charlie wasn't wearing body armor until November 2nd. That's not collusion, that's journalism. These grifters just want to invent sensationalized fiction and clickbait instead of going to the location, working their asses off to contact people like I did, finding eyewitnesses, and bringing in experts to discuss the case. They don't want to talk to eyewitnesses. They don't want to speak to independent experts. They want to keep their fictional conspiratorial grift alive. That's all that matters. For those familiar with the English language, feel free to listen to the included clip or watch the full podcast link below and judge for yourself. If there's anything I stated that indicates I spoke with Brian Harpole a week after, I don't say that, and it isn't true. Just another fabricated hit piece. Project Constitution is a liar and a propagandist, nothing more. Because I've been so effective at exposing Candace's lies, there has been a coordinated disinformation campaign involving Candace Owens, Baron Coleman, Stu Peters, Project Constitution, and many more of Candace's simp mouthpieces. Keep it coming. All these POSs do is motivate me. It's not going to stop me. Their attempts to discredit me are provable lies. They have intentionally lied to their audience because their false narrative is all that matters. Truth be damned. And that is completely true. Gary has done more investigating than all of them combined. He went to the UVU campus. He interviewed eyewitnesses. He is the one who worked with a friend of his, and they put out a 3D model of the UVU campus that you could go on X and get for free. It's an interactive 3D model. It's amazing. He's had all kinds of experts on his show. I mean, Project Constitution, these other guys, they've done nothing but sit behind their screens and invent conspiracies. That's the downstream of Candace Owens. Candace says something and then they all parrot it. And, well, now it seems like they kind of all have gone off in their own direction. But, you know, they're all on the same team. Basically, just push conspiracy nonsense, get the clicks, get the money. They've all been grifting and feasting off of Charlie Kirk's death for, almost 6 months now? It's getting disgusting. And for the record, Gary with Paramount Tactical is not an obscure YouTuber. He is a YouTuber. He has a YouTube channel. It's not obscure. It's quite successful. And that's not his day job. That's a side gig. He has a business that he runs. He sells firearms and offers training. He is a military veteran, a former Green Beret. So he's not a YouTuber, and he's definitely not obscure. But we don't even care about, cause Candace is the one who started the obscure YouTuber remark. But we joke about it. We're gonna make obscure YouTuber t-shirts. We think it's funny. So the fact that Project Constipated thinks that calling Gary an obscure YouTuber is some kind of, hit, it isn't. Okay, so the truth is, what Candace and her simp accounts are pissed off about is that Gary exposed Mitch Snow for the pathological lying POS that he is. And he's done actual investigating work. This is what he's contributed. I mean, he started with the body armor, and that he was investigating. He was collabing with Marcus Allen for a while. He's talked to George Webb, Kyle Seraphin. He went in talking about the security team. He went, then like I said, he went to UVU. He talked to Matt Kester. I mean, he's had ballistic experts on, attorneys, specialists. He's also had on other social media and people, investigative journalists and such, like Natalie Denise, Carrie Smith, she's a cult expert, Sarcastic Liberty, Andrea Burkhart, the attorney, the brick suit guy, Trish Wood, who, you know, is been in the field of journalism for decades. And then here we get to the Mitch Snow. You know, it goes on and on. Now, Project Constitution, you go scrolling through his X account, and it's mostly just reposts or bashing Erica Kirk, making fake evidence, and his YouTube page doesn't really have anything better on it. Alright, so originally the video was gonna wrap up here. But today, while I was putting together the video, I was watching Paramount Tactical's live in the background, and guess who showed up in the chat? None other than Project Constitution. So let's check and see how that went.
Project Constitution. It's the microphone receiver under Charlie's shirt on his belt left side where the shape charge was set to explode. There's ample evidence to suggest this. Watch my live from today. If you want the biggest lying grifter piece of shit on the planet, it would be Project Constitution. So I appreciate you showing up in my chat, and I'm glad to take your $20 there, Colin. Colin also has been arrested for attempting to sell fake marijuana. And folks, you can just go through his entire timeline. This is the same guy that intentionally went through, took Erica's Instagram post, blocked out, completely edited the background, and then tried to pass Erica Kirk, who on the original Instagram post, it says that she's kissing this girl, all right, and the little girl is her niece, and I believe it's her graduation. But Project Constitution, being the lying, grifting piece of shit that he is, wants to completely get rid of all that information, omit that information, and try to push this off as she's kissing somebody that she doesn't know, a little girl, and that she's grooming this person. So, again, Colin, you're a dishonest piece of shit. And there's no, I want to make sure that we're clear on that. You continue to push lies about me. You've continued to defame me. And look, I'm telling you, man, I'm going to be coming after you. I'm going to be coming after you. I'm still exploring legal. All right. We've already looked into who you are and what's going on. I know exactly where you live, and that is not a threat or anything else. I'm just letting you know that I've looked into you. All right. I would never attack you, and I don't want anyone to take any sort of physical violence against you. What I'm telling you, just so that we're clear, is the only reason you don't have a lawsuit right now is because you don't own anything. You're not worth the time. Or I would have already been coming after you for defamation, libel, and slander, because that's what you do. And you're lucky that you don't own anything. You're lucky you're not worth anything, or I would be coming after you. So, folks, if you guys want to go watch Project Constitution, where he's going to continue to push more lies, you're welcome to do so. There are a few people on this planet that are bigger dishonest grifters than Colin over at Project Constitution.
And as I was getting ready to record this video over on X, and by the way, I added the pictures of Erica and her niece. I added that in to that clip just to show you what Gary was talking about how Project Constitution blacked out the background. So if you go to Gary's, you're not going to see that I did that in my clip. But as I was getting ready to, as I was putting this video together, I'm on X making sure I have the post that I need. And Gary, right after he got done saying this, he invited Project Constitution onto his show to discuss his theory, because Project Constitution put out a video today pushing a conspiracy that it was an exploding microphone, well, actually a microphone receiver, that killed Charlie. And Gary gave him a link to come on up and discuss your theory. Now, if you're that solid in your theory, and a YouTuber who is on live, who has over 700 people watching, and that was just on YouTube, I believe he was also live on X, wouldn't you take that opportunity to put your theory in front of an entirely different audience if you were that solid in your theory? The reason why he didn't go on there is because he knows Gary has an extensive military background dealing with explosives. And more than likely, Project Constitution wouldn't be able to handle any pushback that came from Gary. Because Gary wouldn't have been rude to him. Gary has on people that he disagrees with. He's not rude. He's always, cordial. So, and anyway, as I was on X, Project Constitution, that clip I just played for you, Project Constitution and his little buddies on X are posting all over the place that Gary had a crash out. What we just watched, that was not a crash out. If you think that was a crash out, you've never seen somebody crash out. And this is what Gary had to say to Project Constitution after.
Oh, and if you're still, here's the problem, Colin. You have a big following over on X. All you got to do is tell the truth, dude. Like, that's all you'd have to do, is just to be honest and report facts, as opposed to make up these salacious nonsense. And that's a really sad thing. You could be a genuine force for good, Colin. All you got to do is tell the truth. It's not that hard. And you might lose 10% by not pushing the salacious nonsense, but you'd be able to look yourself in the mirror and say, hey, you know what? I performed with integrity. And that's something you have zero of. And for whatever reason, for the, 230 or so thousand followers that he has on X, he does. All right. You did a great job building all that stuff, Colin. Now use it for a force for good. All you got to do is start telling the truth. Not that hard. Not that hard. I could even buy, a little bit of a clickbait title. But when you completely make shit up the way that you're doing, Colin, you're not doing yourself a service, and you're not doing the American people a service when we need good alternative sources of news and information.
Yeah.
And when you reduce yourself to the bullshit that you're pushing, like, to me, there's nothing worse. I mean, it doesn't get more of a scumbag than that. It really doesn't. A missed opportunity, for sure.
Yeah. And I wholeheartedly agree with Gary. I mean, that is what the S-Files is. That's where it came from. I came up with the idea and started it on TikTok at the end of 2024. I just started it on YouTube, in the last month. But that's where it started. I'm planning on putting out like an origin video to explain it all, but that's the basic point. Is we lost the mainstream media, but we have YouTube and we have X. But now, post Charlie Kirk, it has gotten insane with the lies and the conspiracies, and the algorithms, promote it. They push it. You can make a video about, Charlie was shot from space by a laser beam, and it'll get 200,000 views. You make a video about something legitimate, you're not getting that many views. I watch channels blow up, channels that came out of nowhere and have nothing but Charlie Kirk videos. There's one channel that all they did was post the UVU video in different speeds. I mean, so in conclusion, Project Constitution put up a post on X lying, saying that Gary was talking to Brian Harpole right after Charlie Kirk was assassinated, which is absolutely false. And then Project Constitution showed up in Gary's live today, and Gary had some words for him. Wasn't quite a crash out, not even close. That's how it's being framed on X right now, but that's not what it is. But that brings us to the end. We need to call out these liars. Yeah, we just have to. Not everybody appreciates it. If you like this video, consider subscribing and hitting the like button. I would really appreciate it, because the people who don't like the truth, the cult members and others, will hit the thumbs down button. They won't even watch the video. They'll just read the title and hit it. So, but I am so glad that you stopped by to watch. I'm trying to keep these videos as short as possible because time is precious. That's why we call it spending time. So, have a good day, have a good night, stay safe, stay blessed, and I will see you on the next one.